Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I've said this before, but I think it bears repeating. When I talk about the owners and controllers of global financialized capital, no, I'm not using that as a euphemism for the Jews. This is something I think Muslims really have to get past. Because when you go along with the narrative that the Jews control the world, they run the world, and they're this uniquely corrupting and maleficent influence in the world. Whether you know it or not, what you're doing is actually going along with the attempt by non Muslim, white, European, Anglo Saxons, Christians, and atheists to divert accountability and responsibility for their own crimes. You act like these nice white people would just love Muslims if it wasn't for the Jews turning them against us. And I can't help but think that this is because you, on some level, Muslims on some level, feel affection for Westerners. Yes, for white people. And you want to think good about them. So you go along with this pathetic story that everything was just love and roses until the Jews came along. You act like no one in the world would oppose Islam and oppose the Muslims if it wasn't for the Jews. Well, that's absurd. They want to lay responsibility for all of their misdeeds at the feet of the Jews and act like every crime that they've ever committed over the centuries was all because the Jews turned them bad. The Jews manipulated them. The Jews got them to act wrong. Now, I know why they want to do that. I know why they can't face their own wrongdoing and why they come up with this ridiculous excuse. But there's no reason why you should go along with that. Now, if you want to understand the Jews, read the Quran. Don't read Mein Kampf. Western, white, European, Christian hatred of Islam, hatred of Muslims, and hatred of Jews has caused unparalleled atrocities and violence throughout history. It's not like these people were on the right path until the Jews led them astray. It's not like Jews are the only kuffar in the world who oppose Islam. Look, we never had a problem with Jews. Throughout our history, we never had a problem with Jews. Muslims never had a problem with Jews. But when we started to have a problem with Zionism, then we started to incline towards European anti-Semitic tropes. But it was the white European Christians in the first place who created the problem of Zionism, both because of their own violence and persecution and anti-Semitic hatred of Jews in Europe, and because, of course, their actual literal funding and backing of Israel. So don't let them keep passing the buck to the Jews for every wrong thing that they've ever done. That's embarrassing, and it just makes you an accomplice, really, to their own attempt to cover up their own crimes. Jazakumullahu khairan, wassalamu alaikum.